The James Harden, Russell Westbrook situation in Houston is one of the most confusing situations I have ever seen, just from the aspect of what happens next. You have this phenomenal player in Russell Westbrook who doesn't have the highest trade value, who may not be able to get exactly what he wants on a new team, who has one of the worst contracts in the NBA, according to a lot of people that follow basketball. And then you have James Harden on the other side of things, that is one of the best isolation players in the NBA, is a phenomenal scorer, somebody that's not really active off the ball, somebody that I don't know if he would be willing to change his role if he were to go to another team. You guys know I'm a major Harden fan, one of my favorite players in the NBA, but I'm not sure I could imagine Harden in any other role than the role he's in right now. We're talking about a player that averaged north of 34 points per game for a season. We're talking about somebody that was averaging close to 40 points per game throughout the course of a season. I mean, James Harden, without a doubt, one of the most phenomenal players in the NBA. And I've talked about it in my past videos, but I do feel like his scoring does overshadow his passing. Now, with the rumors that are starting to circulate, maybe I could see Harden become more of a facilitator, more of an off-ball player, and return to his roots. If he does that, I mean, that would absolutely be great for his game and the team he's playing for, if they have the talent to make that happen. Now, here's the scary thing. There's a team out there that could shift Harden from more of a scorer to back to a high-level facilitator, and that team is the Brooklyn Nets. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video, and that's facts. Guys, I've been streaming a lot of NBA 2K21 on Next Gen. You will not want to miss a stream. The streams are really interactive. We talk basketball, we play different games. We're going to be playing Among Us, just a whole lot of different things going down in the stream, and I want to make sure you guys are a part of it. The link to my stream is going to be in the description below. Lastly, dropping a like on this video tells YouTube and me that you guys enjoy my content, so be sure to do that. It helps out a ton. Now we got to talk James Harden possibly going to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I've been seeing rumors about Harden going to the Nets circulating around the internet, and originally I wasn't going to make a video on it because in my head, I always thought that the Nets had the assets to make a Harden move happen. But at the same time, Harden playing alongside Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant seems so far-fetched. How could it possibly happen? We're talking about the NBA. This isn't my league. This isn't my GM. This isn't fantasy basketball. We're talking about the real NBA. This isn't my team. You guys get where I'm coming from. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, one team, one basketball. Questions start to arise. How does that work out? Have there ever been three guys that ball dominant on one team? Yes, Kevin Durant did play alongside James Harden and Russell Westbrook, but James Harden at that time was really the sixth man in OKC. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't work out, because I think James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving might get you a ring and might do it pretty easily. I mean, that team is too talented. That team would be its own worst enemy. If they gel on a high level, watch out. That's some insane basketball that could be played up in Brooklyn. So we have to talk about the possibilities of this happening and some of the trade packages, and also Harden wanting to play, like the reality of Harden wanting to play for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I don't want anybody to get mad at me because this isn't a fabricated report. This isn't anything I made up. I told you guys, I didn't plan on making this video. When I saw Woj report as James Harden considers his future with Houston, one possible trade destination is rising to the top of his list. That destination is the Brooklyn Nets. The idea of reuniting with Kevin Durant and joining Kyrie Irving is resonating with James Harden. The fun thing about all of this is that the Nets not only have the assets to make a James Harden trade happen, they have some future firsts, but they also have the assets to stay above water in terms of they can trade a lot of guys and still have some guys that are very slept on that might not be included in the package. Now, Morey is a great GM. If Morey were to trade James Harden to the Brooklyn Nets, Morey's taking the whole team with him. I think Morey is a good GM. Let me maybe not say great. He's had his share of bad moves. So, like I said, if Morey is the Rockets GM that's dealing James Harden to Brooklyn, I think he's getting a fantastic package back. I think he's getting Claxton. I think he's getting Jared Allen. I think he's getting LeVert. You might find Dinwiddie in there, Harris. I'm telling you, all of those assets are coming back. Now, Houston's GM right now, it's going to be a challenge to get maximum value out of Harden. If Harden ends up saying, hey, you know what? I played in Houston 10, 8, however many years I played in Houston. I need you guys to do right by me. I want to go to Brooklyn. I'm not considering anywhere else. Brooklyn is the team I want. It becomes a challenge because you can't trade him anywhere else. When Anthony Davis demanded his trade to LA, it was pretty obvious AD didn't want to go anywhere else. And while the Pelicans got an okay package back, you look at some of the deals, like the deal for Paul George, you look at the deal like the deal for Westbrook, and you think, man, Anthony Davis is levels above those players. How did the Pelicans not end up getting more from the Los Angeles Lakers? Now, look, again, I think Brandon Ingram, I think Lonzo Ball, I think Hart, I think everybody included in that package, every asset is great, but, you know, Anthony Davis, man, this guy, when it's all said and done, has the potential to go down as one of the best power forwards ever. All of those Lakers picks, they're going to be late picks. Are you even going to want to swap some of those picks? That's what's really slept on. I think 2 of the picks that the Pelicans got from the Lakers are pick swaps. In what world are the Pelicans going to finish worse than the Los Angeles Lakers when it comes to drafting? Again, those Lakers picks, they're going to be really late picks. Now, as we touch back to the James Harden situation, I'm just now seeing that Woj reports that the Rockets continue to tell teams that they want to run it back. So there haven't been any trade discussions between the Rockets and Nets. I think that's interesting. I think if the Rockets do run it back, I don't think they necessarily wanted to run it back, especially Westbrook. I think they end up being put in a position where they don't have any other choice. Now, I've seen reports about the trade market surrounding Westbrook, and they haven't been great. It's to be expected. I do think it's unfortunate because Westbrook is going to get remembered for his time in the NBA playoffs this season when he was playing hurt, and not for the stretches where he looked like an MVP candidate. Now, Harden and Westbrook, they can make it work if they truly want to, but the Rockets, they still don't have enough assets to go out and get better and truly contend. So it's a frustrating situation for everybody involved. The Rockets could be a phenomenal regular season team. When it comes to the playoffs, I feel like you already know what's going to happen. Now, the original Nets rumor that I wasn't going to make a video on was there's a deal in place that would go down around November 22nd. According to this Sports Illustrated writer. Now, the package would be Houston receives Dinwiddie, LeVert, Taurean Prince, and Jared Allen. Brooklyn receives James Harden. In the comments, let me know, is that a good enough package to get James Harden from the Houston Rockets? If the Nets were able to somehow get James Harden, they instantly become the team to beat. That's so much talent. Harden, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, how do you guard that team? The answer is you don't. That's a team I would love to see surrounded with like a lot of Robert Covingtons and PJ Tuckers. And now the writer that broke the story of James Harden going to the Nets is now saying it's practically a done deal. They're just ironing out some details. This is actually ridiculous news. We can be watching James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant play basketball. This is just going to be an absolutely unreal offseason. And I can't stress that. I'm going to talk about that more in one of my upcoming videos. Now, let me know how good you think this team can be in the comments below. How many wins are we looking at the Nets getting if this is facts, if this actually does come to fruition? Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support the channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop. Until the next video.